Step quietly. This story is delicate. Tonight, we walk into a prison with no walls, no bars, only thoughts. Tonight, we meet the one who built the cage and then lost the key. Her name was Ava Langley, a novelist, a good one. At least that's what the world said. She wrote a book 5 years ago that people still carried in their bags and underlined with soft pens. They called it honest, brilliant, raw. It reached them in ways they hadn't expected. It touched bruises they hadn't yet named, and they wanted more. So she rented a cabin in the woods, quiet, remote, no distractions. Just her laptop, and the blank page. No excuses, no interruptions, just her mind and her fear. And for the first few days it worked. She made outlines, drank black coffee, went on walks. She told herself she'd finish a draft in 2 weeks, but then the words stopped coming. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard like a scared animal. She deleted more than she wrote.
This sentence sounds like it was written by a child.
She laughed, but it wasn't funny. It was bitter, the kind that burns on the way out. The cabin had a mirror above the desk. At first she ignored it. Then she started looking, not at her reflection, but at her failure. Her messy hair, her tired eyes, her aging skin. The lines that weren't there when she wrote her first book.
You're not a writer anymore. You just got lucky once.
The blinking cursor became a judge, and her silence. Guilty as charged. She stopped showering. She locked the door. She didn't know why. The key was still there, but she didn't want it. She sat on the floor, back against the wall, whispering to herself words she would never write.
You should have done something else. Something practical. Something safe.
Every morning she sat at her desk. Every night she deleted everything. She feared the page, but feared finishing even more. What if it wasn't good enough? What if she poured her soul into it and it still fell flat? What if the silence said more than the story ever could? So she stayed stuck, halfway between hope and horror. She felt like a woman blindfolded, hemmed in on all sides, every path blocked by the sharp edges of her own doubt. Too scared to fail, too scared to try. She didn't eat much, just toast. She left dishes in the sink. The snow piled outside. The world kept turning, but inside she was frozen. One night, Ava had a dream. She stood in the center of a clearing, barefoot, blindfolded. 8 massive swords surrounded her, planted in the cold ground like prison bars. Each sword had something carved into it, words she thought she had forgotten. Too old, one-hit wonder, not talented enough, you peaked early. She reached out, cut her hand. She cried, fell to her knees, sobbing,
I don't know how to get out.
A voice answered, not loud, not cruel, just steady.
You put yourself here.
And suddenly the ground became a page, blank, cold, waiting. She looked down, ink dripped from her fingers like blood. She woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. The fire had burned low. Her laptop was still open. Blank screen, no words, just the blinking cursor still waiting. And a thought.
How long have I been in this loop?
The next morning, she stared into the mirror, but this time she didn't look away, not just at the face, but at the fear behind it, the ache, the exhaustion.
You're not perfect. You never were. And they still loved it anyway.
She picked up a pen, not the laptop, just a pen, and started writing, messy, uneven, honest. She wrote about a woman who couldn't move, about fear with no face, about the pain of never feeling enough. She wrote what she wasn't supposed to, what no one had asked for, what she needed to say. And the more she wrote, the more the swords loosened. The blindfold slipped, the ropes unraveled, not all at once, but enough. For the first time in weeks, she cried not from fear, but from release. Sometimes the loudest prison is the one inside your own mind. You dress it in logic, decorate it with expectations, call it discipline or standards or ambition, but it's still a cage, and perfection is just another name for fear in a nicer suit. Ava didn't need to escape. She needed to forgive herself for being human, for changing, for not being brilliant every day. She didn't need to be exceptional. She needed to be free. What about you? What masterpiece have you buried beneath the fear of not being good enough? How many dreams are sitting quietly, waiting for you to unlock the door? What could happen if you did it scared anyway? If you've ever stared at the page, the canvas, the mirror, and heard nothing but doubt, try again. Not for them, for you. Write one sentence, say one truth, take one step forward, even if it's shaky. Then whisper,
I'm not perfect, but I'm still worthy.
don't forget, the cage was never locked. Stay free in your mind and light the way for someone else who's still trapped in theirs.